Hey guys, Jonah here, back with another beer review. And yes, I'm back on my single hop beers. And this one's slightly different. Well, it's kind of different and it isn't. So we are Spain, but it's linking us down here. The Barcelona Beer Company. And that's it, because it hasn't got an article on them in the magazine. But the beer is here. La Bella Lola. That's easy for me to say. It's a Citra single hop beer. And it says here, brewed with wheat and malts from Bavaria and Bohemia regions. Citra hops from the United States and Germany. That's weird. An incredibly pure water from the Montesay Natural Reserva. And we have lovely lady here, La Bella Lola, and another lady there. Is probably the same lady, because yeah, it's all going around here, which is kind of crazy. And this one was actually brewed in Barcelona, which I'm pretty happy about. I quite like. It looks a bit French. I like that wallpaper you get sometimes with the blue and white and the red. Well, red is a Spanish color, isn't it? So yeah, Citra. Weird that Citra from two locations. Is that technically a single hopped beer if it's using different terroir? If that makes sense. Well, I remember years ago they had people got in trouble for having South American Cascade, and it basically smelt like cat pee. So I'm glad they don't do that anymore. Oh, lovely, 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 lovely grass cuttings. Did you ever, when your dad was mowing the lawn, did you ever stick your head in the bag of grass cuttings? I did. Never again, dear viewer, never again. So this is a pale ale. I would say it looks a bit like a lager. Very much like a lager. Is it an extra pale? Mediterranean blonde ale. My apologies. It's a Mediterranean blonde ale. Actually, let's get this lady in there because I quite like her, like the look of her jib, whatever that is, and then move that a little bit, and then cheesy grin. Should have done this before, but it's not much head. Very well, it's disappeared already. Fingernails head, we will call that. And I have had this one in the fridge, but there is a bit of haze. It's not, you can see through it, but yeah, it is not what you would call bright by any means. In fact, I wouldn't even call it clear. But that Citra, lovely, slightly kind of slight lemon and lime thing going on. Wow, I'm getting some yeasties as well, which is always good. The malts, we've got some oats in there apparently. Oats, wheat malt, and a Pilsner base malt. So basically, it has got wheat and oats in there in some guises, and that's probably why. Can you see that? You can kind of see shapes through there. It's like me when I'm not wearing my contact lenses. I can kind of see shapes, but I wouldn't want to drive. I'd definitely crash or run people over and all that kind of jazz. Anyhow, let's get on with this beer review without further ado. And if you're liking this, if it's entertaining, why not click like? It's got to be worth a like, surely. Cheers and beers. Ooh, it's a little bit of sourness in there too. I just realised I have no idea how strong this beer is. There it is on the side, 4% in a 330. Make sure you're 18 plus and avoid those 18 plus year old pregnant ladies, and don't drive a car while you're doing it. Okay, nice, light, easy drinking. The sourness is a bit weird. And I think it's sourness coming not only from the citra, but it's coming from the yeast as well. The yeast interaction. You can definitely smell the yeast there. It's like sometimes you have a Belgian beer and it's kind of, what's the one? Duval is a good example. You have a Witbier, a Weissbier, and yeah, it just has that lemony kind of bitterness to it. And I wonder if they've used, doesn't say, but I'm wondering if they've used the Belgian yeast. It seems that way. It just kind of takes the edge off it for me. Yeah, it's that kind of bitterness, that sourness in the end, in a kind of lemony way. But I'm sure it's coming from the yeast this time because it tastes a bit yeasty. Is it the creaminess from the oats and the yeast from the wheat and all that? Don't think so. I think this time it is coming from the yeast that they've used, which is really a shame. Same with adding wheat and oats to a pale ale, and then putting single hop. What have you got to hide? Not sure. Citra is a hop I know very well. It's the most common grown hop in the world. It's in a lot of beers. But weirdly, as a single hop, and I have had single hopped Citra, pardon me, before. Yeah, unfortunately, this isn't a good example. They've just tried to do a little too much, and yeah, as a result, it's kind of taken away from the beer. I think perhaps if you'd stuck to a more just traditional pale ale, not a new style, an older style pale ale, kind of just a pale ale, maybe a hint, just a tiny bit of crystal to give a little bit of sweetness, that would have balanced things out. And whatever yeast you used, I'm assuming it's a Belgium yeast, but it might be an in-house Barcelona yeast. Meh. Yeah, I think something that would dry out a bit more, finish a bit more clean, crisp. Maybe a lagery type thing or a Kolsch. Maybe a Kolsch yeast would have worked quite well here. This one they've kind of swung a little bit for the fences, but not succeeded. I think. I don't think I'll score this one massively high, to be honest. Yeah, it's not a good representation of Citra, and I know what Citra is like. That's why I can say that. Although it's a mix of two Citras, German and West Coast or American. I'm not even sure that's a single hop. It's weird. And when you say single hop, for those of you that don't know what single hop beers are, it doesn't mean you have a beer and just put a single hop. Ding ding, label out. Just a single hop per glass, perhaps, or something like that. No, it means you've only used one hop in the bittering and the aroma and the taste. So you only use one hop. You can put it in different points in the actual boil, etc., etc. But technically, they've used a variety of hop from different areas. And for those of you that drink wine, terroir is a term. It's used in beer as well now. But essentially, it's getting ingredients from kind of one place, and it takes on the characteristics of that place. There we go. There's an education for you, dear viewer. Terroir. Yeah, quite interesting. But this can't be called that because it's from two different locations. Ah, maybe I'm nitpicking, but yeah, this isn't this is not my favourite beer of the ones I've tried so far, and it probably isn't going to be beer of the box, to be honest. But I'm glad I tried it. It's a Mediterranean blonde ale, La Bella Lola, Citra single hop beer from, I think it's Barcelona Brewing. There we go. Barcelona Beer Company. Quality and honest craft beers. Blah, 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 blah. Nah, I'll try more beers from that brewery, before I give my final judgment. But from what I've had today, meh, it's a bit meh. That makes sense. Who knows? This has been Unclejona drinking beers and hopefully entertaining you on a school night as well. At least it was only 4% this time and not some 8.5% bad boy. Guys, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Unclejona will return with another beer review real soon.